Wow, remember when I used to post videos on here? 'Cause I don't. I'm a little bit kidding, but I'm a little bit serious. I feel like I took a little bit of a video hiatus, and part of it was just because I can't force making a video. So Booktubeathon happened and I still have to film a Q&A. I have so many good questions that came from that time, and I will get to it. But fall has quickly approached, and that takes priority over all things. If you follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, I don't know how you got here, but that is where I'm definitely most active. But if you follow me there, I have been pretty consistently posting about my anticipated fall reads. And a picture says a lot, but I have a lot more to say, I think. And there's too many. There are definitely too many, and I'm gonna try to go through them pretty quickly. Most I don't even know the true synopsis about, and part of that is for my own mystery and intrigue. So we'll see where that takes us. I'm just gonna jump into it because I'm just gonna waste too much time explaining myself for no reason at all. So here we go. Where the Crawdads Sing was one of the most anticipated books I had towards the end of summer. But when you read the synopsis, it definitely feels like, oh, the murder mystery intrigue is something that may be good for the start of fall, but it still has like a little bit of those summer vibes to it, just like naturally being in the South and on the water and things like that. Disclaimer, I have already read it. I just finished it, and it was so great. So great. I was so worried because when I first saw this book, I went through a lot of cover hype where I was like, that is beautiful and I need to have it. I have this like weird romanticized vision of me living in the South, and so anything that is remotely Southern related, I'm like, I need it. So I did that with this book, and then slowly people started reading it and posting about it all the time, and I was a little bit like, God, I hope it's good. I did really like it though. I have talked about it on Instagram, so I won't go too crazy here. Something in this story that will meet your needs. It's not just a murder mystery, it's written beautifully, and even the descriptions of like the setting alone make this book worth reading. So highly recommend this one, a really highly anticipated fall read. I am currently reading Bird Box, which was so kindly sent to me by my friend Jenna last year actually, and because it was like more towards the end of the spooky season, I intentionally held off for this year, and I'm a little like a third of the way into it and hooked. I actually just texted her because I realized at the end of a chapter that my entire body was clenched the whole chapter. And I've never had a book scare me like that before. I read scary books last year that, I mean, occasionally got to me, but I've never been clenched a whole chapter. What? And I'm only a third of the way in? I don't even fully know what's going on. I don't know. I'm yelling. I'm really looking forward to this one. Every time I post about it, people start to freak out, so probably gonna have to report back on this one. The next book I hope to read was recommended to me by a bookseller at Green Apple Books in San Francisco, and it is The Job of the Wasp. And it's by an indie publisher, Soft Skull Press, which is recently on my radar, and they publish such fantastic books. I feel like, how did I miss that? I know that this has something to do with a boys' orphanage. That is what intrigued me to begin with. I like those kind of scary movies that have like creepy kids in it. Don't ask. I don't know. But that's what drew me to this, and I feel like this might actually freak me out a little bit. But we'll see. I'm excited to read it and report back. A few people had expressed interest in knowing about what it was like, so I'm happy to report back. You. Oh gosh. You has been on my radar for a while. I bought it a while ago from Book Outlet, as evidenced by that lovely stripe on the bottom. It was recently turned into a show, and it has, God, what's his name? Penn Badgley from Gossip Girl in it. So, want to watch that and need to finally read this. I know this freaked people out, and I'm looking to be freaked out. I always try with the scary books, and they never really get me like a scary film does. So please let this be what I'm hoping it is. Also, like, I'm a little bit like, is this gonna freak me out already more than I'm freaked out about being a woman just in public? I don't know. I think that, like, maybe, probably. So, a little bit scared of this one, but also think it's going to be a really good one for this season. Another very hyped book that I'm worried about is The Incendiaries, and I was so on the fence about getting this one because that book hype is so real, and like the cover itself is very hype-ish, and but I like a story about a cult. Like, I'm a murderino. I've listened to My Favorite Murder hoping for a cult episode. So I'm really hopeful for this one, but I also am like waiting towards the later end of fall so that the hype can die down a little. When I was at the bookstore, this is a signed copy. I had missed her event, and the bookseller talked to me a lot about how wonderful it was to have her come and visit, and that they just really found this author to be someone that they really appreciated and loved having for their event. So I was a little bit like, that's someone I want to support, and so I did it, okay? I succumbed to the book hype every now and then. Sue me. This is a good one. This was kindly sent to me by Little Brown, and it is In the House in the Dark of the Woods, and I'm very excited for this one. I love a tiny book, like for scale. It's just like a little bit smaller. I love that for some reason. It like really gets me, and I was really intrigued by it. It felt like a really good fall read. I think I'm gonna read it with Jenna, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I will report back. I'm gonna report back on all of them, so I'm just gonna stop saying that. I always do that. This was surprise sent to me by Putnam, and it is Tell Me You're Mine, and I don't really know that much about it, but it sounds freaking creepy, so I'm gonna read it in the fall. It just recently came out, so give it a little peek. It sounds a little bit like more thriller-y than anything, so we'll see. It'll be probably not like a horror, but a thriller, which works for me, especially for the fall. I don't even know if this fully fits into the creepy realm, but it creeps me out, the cover, a little bit, and I think it will work. But it's The Paperman, published by Unnamed Press, which I love. And are you kidding? Have any of you seen The Boy? It's a horrible, scary movie, but like, I mean, worth it. It's entertaining. This gave me those kind of vibes, and I was just a little bit like, I'll read that in the fall. And it fits with like the fall aesthetic of the color of these books. When I hold them up at the end, you're gonna be like, those are fall books. I'm really looking forward to this one. I intentionally don't know a ton about it because every time I post about it, people are really intrigued, and as am I. The craziest thing, I went to a little free library near my house for the first time because I was getting rid of some books and felt like that was where they should live. But when I opened it, this was in there, and I only saw it from the side, and I saw that the author's last name was Dahmer, And I was like, no, what is that? And grabbed it immediately, and now it is mine, and I'm so excited to read it. I like Googled it, and an interview came up where Jeffrey Dahmer's father, who is the author of this book, was like talking about having written the book and like curious if he had anything to do with what happened with his son. Oh my gosh, this is like my worlds colliding. My love for creepy and psychology and everything. I am so excited to read this. And like, what a beautiful find. I feel so lucky. Oh, I feel like I should also share it eventually, but we'll see how attached I get. If you have watched any of my videos in the past, you are not mistaken. I said I was gonna read my absolute darling a long time ago, and I did not. I know that this is going to be an emotionally pretty tolling and taxing read. Some people that I've talked to have like put it down, and I don't know. I usually love that. I'm also taking care of myself. So I will try to read it this fall because I've wanted to for too long. It's like now in paperback, in this like really teeny paperback. I could have just carried around this teeny book. But no, I still am really excited to read it. I just need it to be the right time. My lovely friend Stephanie and I did a book swap over the summer, and she got me I'll Be Gone in the Dark. This is a given. This was going to be read by me at some point in life anyway, and now that the dust has settled a little bit around this book and everything that happened with finding the Golden State Killer, I'm really interested to read it. And what better time than when I'm already freaked out by everything else and don't want to sleep anyway? Sure, let's just throw it in the mix. I don't even really know if this fits in the vibe either, but again, the aesthetic, and I was excited about it. I'm going to try to read Hagseed this fall. I found a like smaller Canadian version at a used bookstore and just got like way too excited, needed to read it. And everybody loves Margaret Atwood, and I'm so sorry to everybody, but I have not read any Margaret Atwood. So I'm really looking forward to this one because I have never read her before and probably should start. Last but not least, I am going to be, this is not at all in the creepy aesthetic, but all of October I am going to be reading A Little Life, finally. I'm doing this as a buddy read with Alyssa. I'll link her page below, and it's going to be a doozy. We're reading it with a bunch of different people on Instagram and hopefully can process all the feels together because it's going to be needed. Those are all my most anticipated fall reads. I post about them all the time, so this really shouldn't be that much of a secret. But I am really excited because these have been on my list for a while and they need to get completed. Please. I'd love to hear in the comments below what reads you're anticipating this fall, especially if there are any rereads or backlist reads. I need to be so much better about getting on those backlist reads. All of my social and everything is listed below. Any special articles I write, I usually list below as well. I just recently wrote about 11 books to raise awareness for shereads.com, and it is my favorite list of recommendations that I've done in a while, so please check that out, support them, they're so fantastic. And that's all I've got. I don't want to swear. I just recently turned 28, and in my 28th year, I am really trying to work on consistency in my self-care and bettering myself, and YouTube has been a really big part of that, mostly the Instagram community, but you know, this came from that. So I am trying to be more consistent. Sometimes my consistency for self-care outweighs posting on here, so that is why I'm not as consistent here, but I'm really trying. I will continue to try, but I appreciate you being here nonetheless. Thank you for watching.